So first of all, hello, and this is a warm welcome to Earth Day. So happy that everybody is here and they care enough to want to do something for the environment and for their homes. And again, it's just great to get together at least once a year during this Earth Day month and talk about all the good things that we're doing ourselves and all the good things we can do and the things that Shaklee can do to help us. And of course, people know me, but I'm a mom, a grandmom, and a great grandma, a nurse, and someone that wants people to get to be well and stay well. That's really my goal. So today we're going to talk about some new facts about toxins and why we should be concerned, and what we can. I have to read through here. What we can do to help ourselves and the planet, and how we can save money by doing a lot of this stuff too, which is really great. Let's see the next one. So we believe that our home should be the safest place in the world. Don't you all agree? Shake your heads. Yes. Okay. But what we know, unfortunately, is that indoor air pollution is 2 to 5 times more than outdoors. So our homes are, unfortunately, no matter how clean they are, it's the things that are in our home. A lot of things outgas, and of course, any cleaners or things that we have that are toxic will outgas. And the EPA tells us that long-term exposure is very, very harmful to us and our families, and that includes all of our furry babies. And I'd like to mention that because so many people have animals that are not real well, and a lot of them live inside all the time. And now we also know this new fact down here that chemicals act as hormone disruptors. This is something kind of new thinking, but it's really exciting. What that means is that hormones can change the signals in our body, and it can change how our food is processed. So a lot of people that are really having a hard time and a hard struggle with fat, it may be because those chemicals are transforming our food into fat instead of muscle and other tissues. And that is really kind of amazing. So keep looking for more information on that. Let's talk about our babies. Babies today are being born with 200 chemicals in their body when they're born. I just told that to a young mom and that I just met, and she went, "Oh no!" And I said, "Well, this is from the Environmental Working Group, and they did this enormous study, and it was like all different nationalities, all different places in the United States, all different socioeconomic groups, and they found that they all are born with about 200 chemicals in their bodies to start with. So we really want to protect our kids. And we know that, in any indoor pollution is going to be more harmful for them, and then it can cause asthma and allergies. We know that school age kids, according to statistics, 1 in 12 school age children have asthma. And that is far too high. Absolutely. But did you also know that cleaning products are not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA? Though everybody asks you, does the FDA? And I said, well, the FDA doesn't. What they're saying to manufacturers is you can use any substance, even known toxins, and you don't have to even list the ingredients. Of course, we list the ingredients on everything we have. But isn't it sad that they can get away with that? And so when you go to buy something, you don't really know, if it's really safe. Let's go down just a little bit more here. So I'm hoping that I scared you a little bit. I'm saying, are you scared now? If you are, then you have to look at what's under your sink. This is not a complete grouping, but again, most people have things like, window cleaners, degreasers, oven cleaners, toilet bowl cleaners, and some of those products are not labeled. We don't know what's in them, and they can be very, very harmful to us. And that's just as a grouping to kind of just think about that right now. I will tell you that if you are very, very interested in this topic, and if you want more information, we have a lot of information that we can send you by email. And as a matter of fact, I'm planning to send everybody a newsletter that has a lot of recipes and stuff, and you can't even see it on mine, excuse me. You can't see it because I have the screen, but I'll be sure to send that to everybody if they're interested. So what do you do when you have the situation and you're kind of figuring out what to do? Where do you go for help? And I tell people when you want to go for help, you go to Shaklee because we know they're safe, proven, and guaranteed. And I'm particularly impressed with the fact that there's a lot of studies done with Shaklee products that are not done with any others. They have a lot of research and they do a lot of testing on their products. And we were the first. We're the first like to make a multivitamin. We were the first climate neutral company that was certified as climate neutral, and I'll talk about that. And we were the first to introduce our Earth Day product, which is Basic H that we're going to talk about. And we also had the landmark study, which shows that Shaklee people who believe in total health, meaning, what you eat, what you put in your body, what you are in your environment, living a healthy living a healthy lifestyle does make a difference. And that's in our landmark health study that studies people that have used these products for 20 years. So how cool is that? And again, this is what Shaklee doesn't have. We don't have all of these awful stuff. For the most part, in our Get Clean package, we don't have any of these things at all. So for the Get Clean package, if kids get into it, it's probably the safest thing they could ever get into. And it's made out of biodegradable surfactants, corn and coconut surfactants. Everything's recyclable, and our dryer sheets are recyclable. No phosphates, nitrates, and no testing on animals. So let's clap. This is the official product of Earth Day. In the 60s, the very first Earth Day, we presented Basic H. And today, the formula is basically the same. They just made it double strength, so you don't have to use as many drops. But it's wonderful. On TV, how we say, don't pay for water, use this, don't pay for water. I always laugh and go, yeah, we were telling people that in the 60s. So here we are, how many years later, and now they just discovered they shouldn't be selling water to people. They should be selling concentrates. So one bottle of Basic H, 16 ounces, will make 5,800 bottles of window cleaner, or 390 of an all-purpose cleaner, 64 of a degreaser. We say you can wash your dog, wash your car, wash your hair, you name it, you can probably do it with Basic H. It's just one of those overall wonderful, wonderful things. One little thing I'll mention is I had a friend and she said to me, she was newly introduced to Shaklee, and she said, why is it that when I wash my floor with Basic H, my hands feel so good and they're not rough or red? And I started laughing and I go, well, first of all, it's pH balance. That's why. None of the stuff that you're using is pH balance. And she said, oh, is that why? She said, I couldn't figure it out. And I go, well, they're pretty special products, very special products. So let's go on because we want to cover all our basic products and then do some testimonials. Again, we have hand wash concentrate, which is tremendous. It actually is so good for your hands while you're washing. And I know maybe people use it. I've used it. I've actually used it in the shower once in a while. It's good. It's really good. Dishwasher. Now, this one really impresses me because most of the dishwashing products that are out there do not rinse completely from the dishes. And so what happens is ours does. Ours is made to do that. But when you eat off of those dishes, you're eating chemicals with your food. When I learned that, I was definitely convinced that I never wanted to use anything but Shaklee's product because I certainly do not want to eat chemicals with my food. And it works really well. Again, ask the person who brought you, they'll teach you how to use it right in case you have any questions. I just had my dishwasher fixed. I have to share something terrible, but I had mice that came in and they ate my dishwasher. They ate the little rubber gasket. They ate the rubber gasket. They were having such a party that they decided to eat that. So I had to get a whole new gasket and a motor. which cost almost the same as the washer. But anyway, what I said to the guy today is, when those mice did it, I said to them, I hope you have indigestion. That's all I'm just saying. It was not very nice to do that. And then, of course, we have the hand wash liquid concentrate. When this came out, people didn't know how to act because we always use basic H, but this is wonderful. You use just a couple of drops and you can wash all the dishes in the world. And it does not make a lot of bubbles. It biodegrades right away so that you can, and that's the only issue some people have. They feel they should see a sink of bubbles. You're never going to see it. But my daughter said to me, Mom, you know what you tell people about this? When that bottle is empty and you think it is absolutely empty, there's nothing left in it, you can still wash your dishes for another week.
Wow.
And I said, okay, that came from my daughter, who doesn't always share, but she shared with me, which is great. And then we're just going to cover this a little bit, and then we can throw some of these ideas in later. Fresh laundry, especially like the mom who's interested for the baby. Again, liquid or the powder. A lot of just depends. Everything works with everything. It's compatible with everything. But the liquid you can use as a pre-spotter, which is why a lot of people. I know, Rosanna, we were talking about the baby stains. Did you want to tell them about the baby stains because we use this and we use the Nature Bright with it.
When I first got into Shaklee 36 years ago, I went to my neighbor and asked her if she wanted to use our free cleaning bucket, which has all the cleaners and the laundry products for free for 3 days. Why not? That's what got me to try them. And I had been a person with migraines, and so had my mother. So it worked well for us for our health. It worked well for us for our clothes. And she had gotten a box full of onesies and baby clothes from her sister from another state because now my neighbor and friend was pregnant. And but she nursed her other two. And when she got this box, she was so excited. And we went to open it up, and all the onesies and all the baby clothes, almost every single piece, had all around here a rusty orange red, you know how it does. And we never knew that because we had nursed ours. I never looked at my girlfriend's baby's things. And so here she told me, she goes, okay, I'm going to wash these. She tried 3 different ways. She used Clorox. She used everything on them. Okay, so now I says, well, why don't we just try this new Shaklee stuff I've been using? Because it removes all kinds of stains. And they say if you just use Nature Bright and their liquid or their powder detergent, that this will come out. And but I never had to do it, so let's just try it. So I took them home and I soaked them overnight like you're supposed to, and they said you might have to soak them 1 to 3 days. Even linens that are in your cedar chest that get yellowish stains, right, old wedding gowns, etc. It had worked for other people. I had seen photos. So I soaked them overnight. It was almost all gone the next day when I went to go rinse them. So then I put them in my washer, and I put them in there again with both of the products and left them, switched them, left them in overnight, then ran them through my washer. And I wish we had taken pictures back then because they were gone completely. There wasn't one piece of clothing that had any of that yellowish orange ugly stain. And she went on to use them for the next 2 kids that she had.
Right.
So
Right.
what did you put in what was the quantity of things you put in the water?
Okay, the Nature Bright, the fresh laundry.
Yes.
Okay, but I use the liquid because the liquid laundry is even more potent
Right.
than the powder laundry. So I
Okay.
use liquid laundry, and I use the
Nature
Nature
Bright. Yeah, we're talking that we're coming up to Nature
you
Bright
were
now.
supposed to, in a basin, you were supposed to use 2 to 3 tablespoons of the Nature Bright, the powder, and you were supposed to use 1 to 2 tablespoons of the liquid washer, the liquid. And but I just used 3 and 3, stuck them in there. And then the next day I did the same thing in the washing machine. And oh gosh, I call it the washing machine. You can tell how old I am. Anyway, so that's all it took. It was amazing. And we have photos that Linda can show you, not tonight, but she could send to you, of wedding dresses and other really fine pieces of lace that were in cedar chests that did the same thing. I did it with lace that was in our cedar chest.
Yeah, and I've done similar. And my daughter-in-law said she never had a baby stain because she used to have like a bucket. Whenever she took the baby's clothes off, she threw them in a bucket of those 2 things. The next day she threw them in the washer. She said, I never had a baby stain. And I
Well,
went,
we're
oh,
Italian, like
wouldn't,
Paul.
wouldn't mothers love that? I mean, if they, the
Oh,
ones that
so what do you do? Do you do hot water? Do you wait to put the both things in and until it dissolves and then you put your things?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
I used hot water, but you know what? I've also
you don't
done it
really have to.
with
Yeah, you could
I've
use it.
also done it with lukewarm water. I've never
Right,
tried it
right.
with cold, but I've tried it with lukewarm and it's worked on. Oh, it'll take off spaghetti. You know, we Italian
Yeah,
spaghetti sauces on everything. Spaghetti, lipstick, grease, it'll take off anything. It's
Great.
really
right.
great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so and you know what? And people will say, well, what's the recipe and what's this? And after we people that have been in Shaklee for a while, we just like, we dump it. And really and truly, because it's so safe, it's not going to eat the material. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's so safe. So, but real quickly, let's breeze through a few more of these, and we have more people that want to talk. Fabric softener, and we have some for the washer, and we also have dryer sheets. And the nice thing about the dryer sheets is that it's a veggie based dryer sheet, and when you're done using it, you can put it right in the recycle bin. If you want a scent, our set fabric softener concentrate has a scent, and there's different ways that you can use that. And you just ask the person who brought you here, and they'll give you the ins and outs. But there's a few things you can do differently there too. Okay, so let's go on because I want to hear from. Okay, and I just want to breeze on this. I do want to tell you that our germicide, you use such a little bit of it that you don't want a child to ever drink in the bottle because there are some things in it that are a little toxic. But when you use your quarter of a teaspoon, which it tells you to use in a spray bottle, it is basically a safe product to use around every plane. But it kills the feline leukemia, it kills the parvovirus, it kills COVID, it kills things that, you know, well, they were coming out with things and say, well, this doesn't really kill COVID or this doesn't really, well, it kills it. So it's really a go-to thing for everybody. And this is the Nature Bright that we were talking about. And I'll just take you through this and then people can add if they want to add some more testimonials. Nature Bright is an enzyme product that you put in with your wash, and it'll make your whites whiter, it'll make your colored things brighter. It doesn't discolor anything. But we have a little thing that we do when we get together and we do an experiment with it. So as you can see in the left-hand corner there, you can see one of them says water, one says Nature Bright, and that little bottle says iodine. It's hard to read it, but it's iodine. So I got the water, put a couple drops of iodine in it, and if you look to the right, you can see that little cup looks like you had a dark tea in it. So then you get a little bit of Nature Bright, and I went for, it's a fourth of a teaspoon. This was less than an eighth because I was trying to make it the smallest amount I could possibly do. And I put it in that tea thing that would look like tea, swished it around for like less than a minute, and it comes out completely clear. So I like to do that for people just so they can see the power of these products, even though they're completely natural, the power of them. And that's why when we put this together with the laundry, we get tremendous results. And why, you know, I don't even get upset. I used to get upset when you spill wine all over the place, and people have gotten lipstick and wine out of white rugs. I mean, there's some incredible stuff that you can do with this. So anybody else have anything on spots that they wanted to? I think we covered a lot of it, Roseanne.
I have a Nature Bright use.
Okay, there you go.
I have a white kitchen sink, and it doesn't always look nice and sparkly clean. So I just put like an inch of water in it and sprinkle some Nature Bright and swish it around, leave it, you know, sometimes overnight, sometimes just a couple hours, and no scrubbing, no other soap. And it's like perfect when I drain.
Wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
and you know what? I'm so glad you mentioned that because I do the same thing with my stainless steel.
Yeah.
And what happened is my son, my son is an artist. So when he comes in, he notices things that nobody notices. So he walked in my house and remember, my sink is probably, I swear it's been there since the 50s, since the house was built, maybe 60s at the latest. But anyway, he walked in and said, "Did you get a new sink, Mom?" And I said, "No, why?" And he said, "I don't know." He said, "It just looks great." And I go, "I use Nature Bright." And I go, "They told me it would work." And I use it, and I have the people who clean my house use it too. I don't know if they do all the time. Sometimes I think they cheat, but I use it all the time because I like, you know, I like it to look good, you know. But see, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Sue. You triggered how I use it, which is the same thing. I love it on white sinks too. The white, it's takes stains out of everything.
Put
And
it
I
in
know
your toilet bowl. If you put it in your toilet bowl and just let it sit overnight, and then you like clean it with the toilet bowl scrubber,
yeah,
your toilets get nice and white.
right. Absolutely. Okay, well, let's go on here and see what else we have here. Oh, Rosanna, it's your turn again. So you're going to talk about scour off.
You guys
Okay,
are gonna get tired of hearing from me,
it's all
but
right. We'll put up with it.
scour off. You have to have more than one if you are a married person or living with anybody else in your home. I don't care who that other person is because they steal it from you all the time. We keep one under our kitchen sink, keep one in our upstairs closet that cleans all the bathrooms upstairs, and one in the garage for my husband because otherwise ours gets lost. Anyways, here's scour off, and when you open it, oh my gosh, it smells so good. And the coolest thing is you're allowed to smell it without killing yourself. You see, this will not make you ill. This won't kill you. You're allowed. Kids are allowed to smell it. It's made the basic base ingredient would be ground up cherry pits, but then it has
Right.
other, it's really smooth like a
It smells
cream.
like cherry pits. It smells like cherries.
Oh, it's
It
so
smells like
good.
licorice. It
Yeah.
smells like licorice. Yeah, I think.
Don't eat it because you're not supposed to do
No.
that. Anyway, that's our disclaimer. But anyways, what kids love to take, my little grandkids love to take Papa's collection of coins and pennies. And I don't know if you could see it here, but the top of this penny is really dark and the bottom is really light. And that's only because the grandkids love to do this. They stick it inside here. You can see where we had it stuck inside here, and you just leave it there for a little while. You take it out and you wipe it with some water and everything comes out shiny. That's dirty copper penny. And then I just want to show you this other little demo that I did last time with one of my grandchildren, because like I say, they love to do this. This is my copper pan, one of the copper pans from my mom's set that I grew up with, and I'm an oldie goldie now, so you know how old this is. But anyways, I can never use this pan anymore because once my little one did this demo on it, this is his demo pan. So now we can't cook with it because then it might get brown again. But here's what it looked like for real. Well, the inside, look how shiny. It gleams. But here's the copper part. And it's for copper, it's for brass, it's biodegradable. You don't scrub hard either. Matter of fact, we worked very hard to get that very nice line in there because it was all messed up with him doing it. But you can see that in the photo that Sue is posting here. You could see that dirty, ugly oven. You could see that other person's pan. And I just like to have a real one, because then people say, it's a picture. No, it's not. Try it at home. Scour Off is biodegradable, non-toxic. It has no harsh chemicals. Like I said, you can breathe it. It doesn't give me a migraine, does it? Nope. And it's not tested on animals. It's a really heavy duty paste. Now, this is when other things don't work for you in Shaklee, or they don't work as well. Then you still have a little bit of stain left over. One cool thing is I was doing a presentation one time, and as people were going around the room breathing it in, and trusting me that they wouldn't, keel over. As they were doing that, a gentleman was kind of chatting with his wife, and I heard her say, "Oh no." And then she looked at me and she goes, "I'm sorry, we didn't mean to interrupt," but he was in his wheelchair, and before they had come over, his wheelchair had some part where they had to grease it with an oil, a black oil greasy thing. And here he had his new khaki pants and on, and he had rubbed them, and his wife just noticed it while I'm passing around Scour Off. I says, well, we can use Scour Off, or we can take off your pants and do the Nature Bright thing, but I don't think you want to be butt naked in front of all these women. So anyway, we used the Scour Off on the bottom of his pants in front of everybody, as I was praying that it would work at least a little bit. And no, it took it off, and that was us doing that and in person. And so I don't say do those kind of demos in person when you haven't tried them first, but hey, it worked for us. It's safe for your skin. None of your nose hairs get burnt off with this, when you breathe it in or when you use it. And it's great for not only your pans, your copper, aluminum, stainless steel, and glass also.
Right. Right.
Some people have
Corningware,
top.
Corningware. People are so afraid of it. I still have my original Corningware from
Right.
eons ago when I got married. But anyway, okay, great. Thank you so much.
I
Let's
think
move on
I think
because
Sue
we
might
have.
have something. I think
You want
Sue
to
might
add
have
something?
Linda, I think Sue might have something to say about it, using it on her glass stovetop.
Oh, where is she?
I'm right here.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sue,
so
oh,
we
I'm
we
sorry.
have,
You
no,
know,
no, that's okay.
thank you.
This
That's
is
okay. Go ahead.
impromptu.
That's okay.
So I have a 17-year-old white cooktop stove, glass top stove, and it looks brand new. I mean, seriously, brand new. And that's the only thing I use on it is scour off, just a tiny, tiny bit around the rings on the rings that the pans leave, and it's gone and it buffs up really well, and
How was it?
it's amazing.
Good
So
for
you
you.
use
Pretty
you
early.
use it on a dry
You're
cloth?
home pretty early.
I use it on a sponge, and I get the sponge just a little bit damp,
Yes.
There you
Add
go.
water.
and just the little corner of the sponge. Just you don't need much at all.
That's
I do
amazing.
the same
Q-tip
thing and it's
size.
great.
Is that Jane? Okay, thanks,
Yeah.
Jane. That's good. Great.
Yeah, it's great. Works on the
Great.
laptop, right?
Great. Okay. Maureen, do you want to share your story? Your
Hold
Shaklee?
on.
I think you're good. Oh, now you muted yourself. Now you're muted. You have to take that little, you have to hit the microphone again.
There we
Now
go.
you're good. Now you're good. Okay.
So the basic age for me was amazing. My house had so much wallpaper in it, both like all the bathrooms, in the kitchen, in the hallways, up the stairs, the bedrooms, and I really wanted to paint everything. So, you have to get all that paste off and everything. And I made up the basic H like in the degreaser formula, like the heavy duty one. And I would spray it on the paper and then just pull the paper down. And then you always have some left on the wall. And I would just spray it and let it soak for a few minutes. And I would literally be able to just pull the sheets down. And then I would get the bucket and I would just like wash the walls. And I literally got every single bit of paste off my walls. So I was able to paint them and I didn't have any gouges in them or anything like that. So for me, it was like really amazing because I didn't have to worry about, putting my hands in toxic things or, spending hours with those wheels that would go around and puncture holes and mark up the walls. It was like really a terrific thing.
Great.
Fantastic.
Great. You're wonderful. You're wonderful. So everybody's going to call you now and say, how do we get that wallpaper off again? Denise, are you still on with us? Do you want to share your asthma and allergy thing? I hope we didn't lose her. She should be here. Great.
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
I had to cut off the video because the internet is kind
Oh,
of
your
unstable right
internet's
now.
bad. Okay, well, at least we had a chance to see you and say hi. Go ahead.
Okay, so my little story, it started with my son. He was not quite 5, and we were living in an apartment, and he had a coughing and wheezing attack where we rushed him to one of the local hospitals. And the doctor said, well, your son has asthma. And I, what's that? And then he said, it's something to do with the lungs, and it can be started with dust. It could be started with anything, but they don't know exactly how it occurs. So he prescribed some treatment and then just sent her off to fill the prescription and to get a nebulizer. So I am from Guyana, and in South America, we all believe in prevention rather than curing something. And I did a little bit of research and I come upon Linda's website. I think it was, I can't remember who, it was a distributor for you, but in any event, I made an appointment
Mhm.
and we spoke. And the first thing you said is, okay, what type of cleaners are you using? And I said, of course, Tide and Bunks and all of the different regular stuff. And then you said the first thing that we need to do is cleaners, what you wash his clothes with, what you clean the house. Those are the first two things to look after. And I pitch all of those stuff away and start using the powder and the fabric softener and also the basic H. And it helped tremendously because what Linda told me, she said, even though you wash his clothing with the detergent and the other fabric softener, it still gets into the fabric. And while he's asleep, he inhales that. And that, can trigger the
Mm.
coughing and wheezing attack.
Mm.
So today he's 30 years old
Oh,
and no attacks. It took a while, but we had a handle on it.
Good.
So I've been using this for 20 odd years and would not stop because everything else give me a headache. So
There you go.
this is my go.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Denise. That's great. That's great. And last but not least, we have Sue. Sue Rand. Sue Rand is one of our gardening people. I just love it because she puts her plants on Facebook all the time. And every time I see them, I go, why can't I grow things like that? I don't understand. But anyway, she's going to give us some tips about using Basic H. Hopefully.
I am, and I'm sure Jane could take this much further than I do because she works with farmers that use it by the 5-gallon bucket.
Right.
I can get away with, just a couple of bottles, but it's like the perfect exciting time of year for me to talk about this because as soon as we get done this, it's only 5:30 here, I'm going to run out and plant some stuff. So what I do is I mix up some Basic H, just like a tablespoon in a gallon, and I put it in the hole before I plant my plant or my seeds. And it helps the seeds germinate faster if you use seeds, and it helps the plant roots develop stronger faster if you're going to plant plants. So then I just every time I water, most every time I water, I just put a couple drops in a watering pitcher. But when probably once every 4 or 5 weeks in the summer, I will take another tablespoon, put it in a 5-gallon bucket of water, and just give them another strong hit to just keep their roots growing strong. And it seems to keep bugs away as well.
Yeah.
And it won't hurt the worms or anything like that. So I can't say enough about it.
Yeah. My son did a science project with Basic H, and one was watered with Basic H and one was the other, and the Basic H one was real big. So it's really cool, And he said, I think I could do that for a science project. I went, okay, go ahead. If they let you do it, good for them. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for all. Yes, go ahead, Jane. Jane, do you have
Yeah,
something?
I was just going to say, Sue mentioned that I have people that buy the 5 gallons of the Basic
Right.
H, and they are greenhouse people. Many of them, some have fields that they put it on as well. So that's another avenue to check with people, because the greenhouse people, several of them have been that I have, they've been using it for, well, I don't know how many I have now. But they tell other people, and so it's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sue,
We have
Sue,
a local farm too. Yeah.
Sue, can you explain again what you do with the seeds when you plant
Oh.
seeds?
Well, I put the Basic H and the water combination in the dirt before I put the seeds in,
Okay.
and then it helps those seeds germinate faster.
Okay. So it's 1 tablespoon for a gallon or for 5 gallons?
Yeah, I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference. That's what I do, is 1 tablespoon per gallon when I plant.
Okay.
And then as I water, I dilute that to 1 every
Okay.
5 gallons. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for all those testimonials. And now we're going to just get a little glimpse of what Shaklee's doing to protect the environment. And we're just really proud to be part of Shaklee. First of all, in the year 2000, Shaklee became climate neutral neutral certified, which means, and I wrote it all down here, but it means basically that they achieve net zero greenhouse gases. Any emissions that they had from their plants, their people flying around for Shaklee, doing any of that stuff, they offset by doing other things like planting trees and helping. There were some people that they helped in third world countries to do things more naturally. So somehow Shaklee has been doing this, and this will be the 24th year, which is wonderful. They also will eliminate 220,500 pounds of packaging, and they're reducing the weight of the package, and they're keeping an estimated 627 trucks off the road. They're going to swap their plastic scoops that we have, so start saving your scoops because you will soon be able to buy something with a scoop or without a scoop. And by
Mhm. That's great.
2025, they're going to ensure all packaging and shipping material is either recyclable, reusable, refillable, compostable, or made with PCR materials, which means post-consumer recycled. And they have some of that right now. Some of our lotions and stuff are made with this PCR, post-consumer recycled materials. So I wanted to share that and just say, I hope you're excited about it. We all feel proud to be part of a company that cares enough to do this for the world and the environment. And then the last thing I wanted to hit on is, okay, so what can we do? Now we know what Shaklee's doing, but if we, and again, most of you I know are Shaklee, diehards, but if somebody buys a Get Clean starter kit, okay, it replaces over $3,000 worth of cleaning products. And when you get your kit, you are eliminating 108 pounds of packaging, 248 pounds of greenhouse gases, plus they plant a tree. So I just gave a gift to a new mom at a shower, and I don't think I even told her, but we planted a tree. So I said, we planted a tree for the baby. So there you go.
That's great.
In a single year, Basic H alone eliminated the use of enough plastic bottles to wrap around the earth 18 times when placed end to end. And the sale of the Get Clean starter kits have kept more than 29 million pounds of packaging out of the landfills. So I think it's great that we're doing our part too. So anyway, that's really the end of our presentation. I would just say, talk to the person that brought you here. If you're not familiar with Shaklee, this will be recorded, and I hope a lot of people will learn. And I just want to thank the speakers again. I think it was great that we could all put our 2 cents in, and now people know that we really mean it, right?